Could we please stand as the Lord gives us liberty? Oh, Heavenly Father, we thank you right now for dear Prairie. God, we thank you for the love, Father, for the joy and the strength, oh Heavenly Father, in which the dear Prairie stands now, God. We ask that you would enlighten us even more. God, we ask that you would unite us with cords that cannot be broken. God, we ask that you would touch the hearts, Father, of each and every person here, God. And we ask that you would touch our leadership, God, as well as touch our citizens, God. Give them all that they need, God. Open them up the windows of heaven and pour them out a blessing they won't have room enough to receive. God, we thank you for this time, God. We ask that the meeting will be orderly, God, and it be divinely given by you. It's in the strong name of Jesus that we pray, and let the people of God say, amen.
This is the period for citizens' comments. Since we have a full house, I would ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes and stay. Once your 3 minutes is up, please take your seat so others can make their comments. So we have a group of people that want to speak on one issue. We'll take that issue up, and then anybody else is free to stand up. For citizens' comments, you do not have to fill out one of these cards. You do not have to do that. Any citizen can get up and make a comment. And if you took the time to fill out the card, I will use the cards to ask you to come up and make the comments. Julius Bill.
I just want you to say I yield my time.
Let's please have order and respect the process and respect the speaker.
Nice to meet everyone. I'm a senior at Prairie University, majoring in computer engineering technology. And I just wanted to give my 3 minutes to the Davis family, because I really believe that they deserve a chance. They don't deserve to get that property taken away from them. Like, getting rezoned.
Sit down.
You might talk to them.
Dennis Coleman.
I yield my time to the Davis.
Go ahead, Mr.
Carl Jenkins.
I yield my time to the Davis family as well.
Carol Jenkins.
Yes.
Mr. Bruce Davis.
Thank you.
Mayor Jackson, City Council, Prairie, citizens of Prairie, Texas. I'll be short today. If you were here earlier, I will repeat the comments that I made earlier. I'm Bruce Davis. I'm son of Hugh and Irene Davis, graduate of Pollard High School. I now live in San Antonio after finishing service in the Marine Corps. I was active duty for 11 years, reserves for 2 years. For the last 10 years, I have worked in a company that does housing community profiles, among other things. I was a manager of housing community profile teams that helped the Air Force manage its multi-billion-dollar worldwide community housing programs. I visit Prairie quite often. I am in Prairie quite often. I have voluntarily recruited students to Prairie out of high school and from Prairie into my company, and helped other companies see what Prairie A&M University has to offer. About 9 years ago, I recruited 6 Prairie A&M students into my company from the School of Architecture. They worked in our San Antonio office. One of these students had significant involvement in the development of the city of Prairie Master Plan. I drove in from San Antonio when she made a presentation on the city of Prairie's future in the community center that's near the post office. By that, I became familiar with Prairie, the future plan for the city. Those of you who know me know that it takes a great deal to get me upset. I'm here today because my family and other families in the Prairie community have been thrown under a bus. We've been thrown under a bus. As survivors of the accident, we have a few questions. Who was the driver? Who was the navigator? Why was there no horn honking or tires screeching as this bus approached us? And why was there no aid rendered? The wheels of this bus were put into motion within milliseconds of the passing of our father, Professor Hewlin M. Davis, who opposed this rezoning that's being proposed on Clark Street. He didn't oppose it just for himself. He opposed it as a voice for several others in the community. Why did we not see this bus? Because it was a spiritual bus. It was a spiritual attack made with the stealth that would have made a CIA or KGB agent jealous. An attack on the spirit warrants a response of the spirit. That is what is happening now. Several families have survived the spiritual attack and are fighting back. This is an injustice and abuse of power, and it will not stand. Will you join us? Please keep Clark Street for families. Thank you. Do I gotta give my time?
We still have some time.
Okay, yeah, Carl, it's Davis' time right now. Oh, Joyce, okay.
Thank you all for allowing me to address the city council. I have come a long way to do it, and I was very disheartened to hear that the meeting was canceled, and that we would not be heard at this meeting. My name is Joyce Bryant, and I just want to say very clearly, I am no outsider. I was born in Hempstead, Texas. My mother, Eleanor Jean Fry, was the daughter of Francis Glenn Fry, engineering professor and recognized on the Fry-Thomas power plant. I came here to Prairie View every summer to visit with my cousins and then returned home. I remember going down to the Freeze King, getting a nickel Coke from the machine. We popped the bottle top and guzzled down the Cokes from the glass bottles. Do you remember that? I remember getting watermelon from the street vendors and eating watermelon all day long, running along the street. I remember Mama telling us to get dressed. We were going to the college. I remember roaming the walkhouses. Grandpa Fry would tell us of his history. I am no outsider. I now own the property that my grandfather gave to my mother, and I built a house on it. I am determined to continue on with my proud Prairie View legacy. The citizens of this town, of this proud city, created a zoning map to ensure that our city would remain valuable and vibrant. Reasoned, analyzed, and carefully determined, neighbor by neighbor, neighborhood by neighborhood, section by section, the city areas were discussed. Compromises were made to accommodate what was already there. Decisions were laid down to plan out a well-planned city, a city that could sustain and support a vibrant and growing university. I ask the Honorable Mayor Jackson to respect the zoning map. To the Zoning and Planning Commission, we must respect the planning that was done by the citizens, for the citizens, and by the citizens for the university. To the Honorable Mayor Jackson and to the members of the City Council, I ask that you respect the zoning map. Respect the R1 single-family home designation. Do not say to yourself, well, change will come to them anyway, so who cares? I say care about the resident neighborhoods. Care about the families that are in those neighborhoods. Care about future families. Care about where campus faculty will live. Care about the retirees that want to return home to Prairie View. There is enough for everyone. As I rode around the town and saw all the land that was open and available, it is clear that the zoning plan was reasoned and carefully made to ensure a vibrant and growing town. As I rode around town and saw all the land that was available to build multi-resident dwellings, I knew that the city of Prairie View can support the students and the university's growth without destroying the very foundation of the city. So, if this zoning variance passes, the streets I ran down as a kid will now be filled with between 200 plus additional cars from not just the residents that moved in, from their visitors, from family that come to visit. It is a fact that converting single-family homes into multi-resident dwellings substantially affects the character of a neighborhood and negatively affects the quality of life. Students are transient. They are less connected to a long-term well-being of a neighborhood. As a result, noise is an issue. A fence does not bar noise. Inattention to things like litter and property appearance is a fact. Negative parking impacts the neighborhood. I believe in neighborhoods. Kill single-family neighborhoods and you kill the future of the city. I oppose the Clark City zoning variance because I oppose destroying an entire neighborhood for the good of one. I oppose the zoning variance because I'm fighting for the rights of the many. Thank you.
David Johnson, you want to speak? Somebody else speak?
I defer my time to Carl White.
Hello, my name is Paula. Dave's wife, daughter of Julie and Arlen Davis. I think the Prairie City Council for allowing us a chance to speak and open comment. We're here today because we feel that the family was not treated fairly in this. Okay? We feel that the first notice that went out in January, 9th, dated January 9th, the letter was not in that mail to the 23rd. We felt initially that something was awry. Okay? The reason why we felt something was awry is because my father, when he was alive, Henry Davis, when this last time his zoning was when it was back to try this, he told us the same thing happened at this time here. Okay? He knew about it because he was called by somebody up here. And someone made him aware that there was a meeting going on. And he stopped that in. Okay? So he and my mother would not have to live into the apartment complex in the last days of the service. Okay? My mother don't deserve this. She's lived 7 decades in this community. Okay? She has dedicated her time to the university, and she dedicated her time to the community, and dedicated time to raising 7 children. Okay? So she doesn't deserve this. Okay? We have an issue with the fact that when it's handled, we have an issue with the fact that we seen we were put off to the February meeting. Okay? And we have traveled very far, all of us, very open, and for you to let us know on Friday of last week that we were not going to be included on today's agenda, okay? And rescheduled to April, okay? We asked that the zoning and planning meeting, but they still meet. All those residents live here locally, okay? And we were denied that, okay? So we're going to have to travel again for the April meeting. It's almost as if our request didn't matter. Okay? We heard that meeting was approved, even though my brother Bruce was in town on the 31st. We were not notified that you guys were meeting on the 31st. Okay? He could have been here. We heard the Planning and Zoning Committee approved because no one was here to protest it. One of us would have been here to protest it. The community would have been here to protest it. Had we known that you guys were going to meet that day and that. All of that, we don't consider that fair. So all we're asking now is to be treated fairly in this. You have to understand, our parents, as others in this community, worked on that campus for low income, okay, stayed in this community, raised their children. It was a vibrant community. We want that vibrant community to come back here. We want single-family housing. We want that, okay? If you build an apartment complex next to a single home, you are sending a message to every faculty member, any new faculty member on that campus, that I do not want to build a house in Prairie, because they wouldn't trust that the city council would build an apartment next to them. Who would invest in a home if the city council allows that? Okay? The Prairie needs to grow. The zoning map is the place for that. There was time and energy from all inputs for the zoning map. So therefore, there is land out there for multi-use purpose. There is land out there for single residents, okay? But there's some that believe that, there's only some places that should be for single residents, okay? And Clark Edition is not one of them, okay? We oppose that, okay? We were raised over there. There's still families living over there. There's still people in the houses. I asked for the reporting on the January 31st meeting that was held. I asked for the agenda. I was completely ignored, not given that information until I asked and put on there the Texas Open Act, Texas Open Meetings Act. Until then, I was not denied information that is going to change my mother's livelihood forever for the rest of her days. She would have to live next to an apartment complex, okay? And when that information was finally given to me, and we were able, our family was actually to hear the recordings, we were actually heard, you know, that the comments were a little rough for people who have lived in this community for so long. For someone to say that a gate should be enough between an apartment complex and a house, and this person's going to have to hear students, noise, cars, traffic, and it's horrible. I looked at the plan, okay, and the plan, but that house, that unit up, those units that were on that lot, in the parking lot, almost right next to my parents' bedroom, okay, they would have to hear that every night. My mother would, okay. She does not deserve that. She put too much time in this community. Miss Fondo doesn't deserve that. Miss Santee doesn't deserve that. I also heard that the Santee family, some of the Santee was for supporting this, okay? Well, I spoke to Mrs. Santee. She told me she does not want an apartment complex next to her. So I don't know who in the Santee you have it from, but it's certainly not the Santee that lives in the house. The Santee lives in the house that they do not want to live next to apartment complex. But, let's think about this. Who wants to live next to an apartment complex? Not just a normal apartment complex, but an apartment complex full of college students, which means they're moving in and out every semester, which means there's going to be drinking and loud noise and everything else that a student apartment complex brings. Who would want that? So it doesn't take a rocket science to figure that out, okay? So for this city council and the planning and zoning committee to approve that and to say that no one over there at Park Street matters, okay? The fact is it getting to the point that, you know, they're just not dying fast enough for you? Okay? Is it getting to the point that they're just not dead, and that as soon as they die, you can finally put it up there? Okay? It doesn't take that. It doesn't need that. Okay? This needs to be a win-win for the community, and needs to be a win-win for the university. Okay? Okay? The R1 zone needs to stay intact in order for you to attract faculty members to live here, not in Wallace, Cypress, and all over. Okay? We want to bring this Prairie community back vibrant like it is. They have to look at this like this is a great place to live. Just like some of you purchased homes in here. When you came to Purview as a student, you looked around and said, this is a great place. I would not mind living here and raising my children. Okay? We need to get back to that. We need to get the new faculty members to see the same thing. This is a great place to raise my children. We had it zoned up so the apartments can be in this area. There is no reason to allow anybody to buy a lot next to somebody and say, hey, look, I'm going to put an apartment complex here because I own this lot. Okay? And that's what you allow. Okay? He owns this lot. I think it was the South. They own the lot, to therefore decide, hey, I'm going to go and get a rezone. Okay? So we ask for them to be treated fairly on this whole thing. That's all we ask. Okay? So, for the community, please support this endeavor, okay? For the city council, please help us in this. Please do not wash away the senior citizens who have paid the time and committee on that university campus, live in this community, retire in this community, to be treated like, you know what, it doesn't matter, because it's going to, that happens to you too. You one day will be real old. There will be a new set of people on the city council. How would you like if they say, hey, look, you're walking around 7, 8, and 9. I'm going to put an apartment complex next to you, okay? I mean, we have to keep that zoning in place because it does allow the pet to grow. This is not TSU. There's not land around. There's not where we don't have, you can see where there's no land around the campus, okay? We have land around the campus and land on the campus. We have land around the back of the campus, okay? We do not need to checker this up with a whole bunch of apartment complexes sitting right in between anybody, okay? That's all I have to say. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Vanessa Jones?
I yield my time.
Vanessa expressed to me her concern about the street. She's a single mother, a single parent, that has daughters that live on Clark Street, okay? They have to pass where this proposed apartment complex is going to be built. Two, for her daughters to catch the school bus, okay? So can you imagine, what you are allowing is for young children, okay? You're allowing for under school-age kids, okay, are going to have to walk past now college kids, college young men, okay? She has daughters that go catch a school bus, okay? So she's expressing a concern on that. She doesn't think that's right. She doesn't think that's fair. You guys need to think about all these issues when you make this decision. You wouldn't want that for your family. You wouldn't want that for your child. And that's all we're saying.
Julie Mack? Paulette Matthews Barnett? Ron Barnett?
He's gone. He's gone.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. For you all that don't know me, for you all that don't know me, my name is Jerron Barnett. I spoke earlier in reference to the situation on the rezoning. We're going to have a matrix in our city to where we're going to have development and we're going to have residential. But what we're definitely going to need, we're going to need to do it by the policies, the rules and regulations that have been set forth for us to do this right. And not be in the category where we change to try to fit or try to make something work. But I do believe, because we do have our zoning, I'm the first one. I live between two sets of apartments. And any Saturday night, I invite any of you all to come sit down with me on the front porch, and you can party with all the partying that's going on. Because many times we've had to call law enforcement so that we can get some peace, so that we can be able to wake up the next morning. But nonetheless, what I would like to see is, number one, we're going to have to do this together, folks. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We're going to have to do it together. Number two, it can be done together, and it can be done the right way if we stick to those rules and regulations that are already set forth. So in this particular matter, if there is no zoning, if there is no multi-dwelling, let's not make it multi-dwelling. That's like trying to take a square and put it into a round hole. Those areas where there is sufficient room for that, let's work on those aggressively, and use those for the living that is necessary. But let's leave, let's leave our zoning where it is. Let's not alter anything. We've altered too much, and by altering, we'll never get anywhere. A wise old man once said, "He who reads too many books at one time does not gain knowledge, because you never get complete with the book that you started in the first place." Thank you.
Joyce Bryant?
Yes, that was me, and I want to just thank you again. I just want to say that I used to live in Detroit. Detroit, the big three, if you remember that, because we no longer have a big three, but I lived in car country. And when people moved out of Detroit, when the families left, the tax base dried up. No amount of money from the automakers to develop the surrounding area could save the town. And as the town went, so did the big three. We cannot cater simply to the housing needs of students and continue to build housing, kill off where families can live, and then simply watch while the city citizens move elsewhere. Simply watch while the university president, the university faculty, staff, and workers move elsewhere. A town that becomes simply a place where people come in to work and leave out at night is not a town that can attract the top-notch faculty and staff who support our university. There won't be significant numbers of people who will contribute to the local schools or support the various boards or commissions or contribute to and support the needs of Prairie City. I saw it in Detroit. I see it in dying downtowns all across America. The stability can leave in an instant when we kill off families and places for families to live. And then the question then becomes, where will my neighborhood be? And when will my neighborhood be the next one to disappear? I ask the city council, please, for minutes to the meeting, for this meeting, the Honorable Mayor. And I want to really know, because I still don't understand, is Clark Street, is that still R1? Or was it changed to R3 and we're having to change it back? That's going to be also a request that I make.
Call White again. Jacqueline Sheila.
My name is Jacqueline Sheila, and I live on Park Street. And my major problem with this entire thing is changing the rules. If you make a rule, then stay with it. What are you going to gain by changing the rules? I live in the house where the person who wants to build this wonderful apartment complex once owned. It was a true disaster. I understand that he did not take care of the property. He did not take care of the people who were staying there in the property, and it was a mess. We are looking for another mess if this complex is built on that corner. Not only that, it's not safe. I have asked several times for lighting to be placed on Clark Street. There are no lights. So you guys are wanting to bring a whole group of people on Park Street with lighting that's not proper, and you're going to bring more problems to the elderly people, including myself, I'm elderly, to us who live in that on that street. And my question to you is, would you like to have your mother live next door to any of you, like your mothers to live next door to an apartment complex that lends itself to college students?
Thank you, Mayor, and City Council and Citizen Prairie. I just want to share a short story. I live in San Antonio, and I live across from the University of Texas of San Antonio. It's a neighborhood, regular homes. San Antonio is growing. The University of San Antonio is growing by leaps and bounds. Right now, it's like the third largest university in Texas. So it parallels with what's going on at Prairie A&M. Prairie is, maybe 7,000, 8,000 students now, and I think the projections are 12,000, 15,000. Okay, UTSA, 28,000, the projections are 35,000. Now the point is that down the street from my neighborhood, the developer came in and wanted to rezone R1, rezone single-family houses to multifamily student housing. My neighborhood opposed it. I learned something in that whole ordeal. I actually felt like, well, you can't fight City Hall. Now, this is kind of like what they want. They want this, and we're powerless. No, that's not the case. We have a president of the homeowner association. The citizens got with him, got with the council member for that part of the city. They got with the mayor, Julian Castro, the one that spoke at the Democratic National Convention, and they got this situation squared away. They voted it down. So this can be fought. And we have to make the point that it's not just students that need housing around a university. The faculty and staff need housing. It's also a very positive thing for a community. And so, there's a mix. There's neighborhoods. There's places where there's students. So it's the same deal here. You don't have to just bow to. There's the students, the university's growing by all these numbers, so you have to build it right here, wherever. It can grow in an organized, orderly way. So that's what we're trying to seek: the best of the university, the best of the citizens that are here. So you look at certain places around the country that where housing was kind of allowed to grow right around the university. Without a balanced approach. I know neighborhoods probably go in cycles. University of Southern California, very nice university, outstanding university. Right around the university is a lot of worn down, tenements and dwellings and all that. You look at Howard University. There's rundown places around there. Now they're coming back. They built some infrastructure. They have some rail going in, and because of that, some people are moving into those homes, and some nice homes are starting to come up around Howard University. But I just want to. I'm not going to try to lay out everything here, but I'm just saying that you don't have to. When you go to university, there's more things to it than just housing for the students. The faculty and staff have to live somewhere, and it's ideal that they kind of live right around here and not have to go to Fairfield or Houston or all these other places, so they in order to raise a family. All right, thank you.
Mayor Moore? Frank Hawkins?
I yield to the colleague, David.
Any other comments, citizens' comment? We got one more on zoning. We're doing zoning, and yours is separate from zoning.
Okay,
Yes. I got your call. I'm separate on zoning issue. I'm taking the zoning. Any other comments on zoning?
I would like to make sure we get clarification for next month, okay? Because we're understanding that we are on the agenda for next month, okay? So we have requested to speak next month. We also want to make sure that planning and zoning are going to meet for next month. We don't want to worry about any more shenanigans, and I'm just going to say what it is, okay? We want to make sure that we're going to be treated fairly here. So for next month, we want to make sure that we're on the agenda, it's on the plan, and Friday before Tuesday, we don't want to get a call again or email again saying, guess what, it's off again, okay? We can't keep pushing this all year long. Thank you.
Mayor, if I may, I'll use one of my three on zoning, so you can leave that in. What I would say is, based on what was shared with us in January, the council received notice, and again in February, and since it only takes 30 days notice to be placed on agenda per the Open Meetings Act, the council will be well within its purview with the participants here after they traveled in January, February, and now March to add that item to agenda. It would fall right in within your authority to do so. Based on the 30-day requirement, you've had 60 on this issue.
Any other citizens' comments on zoning?
Hi, I'm Jude Daniels. I own the apartment complex, which is next to the city hall over here. And I understand a lot of your concerns. Listen, when I came to Prairie, I didn't understand what the issues were because there was no zoning. There was nothing going on. You bid it on a piece of land to build a specific project, and by laws, you don't know the people that are here till you buy the land and you have ideas that this is what I'm going to do. And you come here and you find that, okay, there are people that are here, a set of people here that have an issue with commercialization. And when you're coming from a city or you're coming from a place like Houston that has apartments next to homes and things like that, we don't know the difference about what's going on. Some of the things that we did since I've been here, since I put up the project, is that they did put up zoning ordinance together. And they did say, okay, we're going to put multifamily here, we're going to put R1 here, we're going to put R2 here. When it comes to developers like me, and we need to make money, it doesn't matter if it's me or if it's somebody that's coming from outside of Prairie. They're going to do the development. I understand about the rules, but they said we have to keep the R1s R1s and we got to keep the R2s R2. Eventually, it comes to a point where we have to sit, like Mr. Bartlett says, and work together about how we're going to go forward with development and not disturb the peace of everybody else. And maybe not disturbing the peace of everybody else means that you all need to communicate with people like me. People like Mr. Coleman, that have businesses that are going on there, to say, this is our problem, this is what we need to do to get it corrected. I built next to the Kizzy, and we actually built about the same time. And the project was done at the same time, and I found that she had a huge problem with that. One of the things that I do, I try to work really, really hard with her to make sure that any trash, any noise, or anything that is occurring does not disturb her or disturb her peace. Some of the things that I have brought to this community, because I pay over $40,000 a year in taxes, okay, is to help with the streets, help with the piping, help with making sure that you guys have the facilities that you need to go forward. The town is dying. YK is dying. It's still dying. We need development here. We're not going to survive development. And I understand that you need to put it in specific places, but all I'm saying is, talk to us. Tell us what you need. Tell us what you want, because it's coming, whether it's me or somebody on the outside. I want it. We want it. But it's either we as a community can make a profit from this, or somebody on the outside is going to make a profit on it. And somebody from the outside coming in is not going to care about your information. I gladly tell you, I am MTI here. I have the same acronyms as you with the phone number 926-857 and the rest is 9500. If you have any questions, anything that you need to have answered, please feel free to call me. I'm here to help you. But just like I am standing here today telling you that I'm asking you for help too, because I want to make money. You should want to make money. Everybody should profit from this. Ask me what is wrong. Ask me what you need. Ask me what your desires are. If there's a problem, I am open arms to help I was living in a community and there was never an apartment complex next to me, I might have a problem with that. But when you have the zoning and the city council who has to make a decision for the betterment of your city, for incomes to come into the city so that they can turn around and help you in the long run, these decisions have to be made. So all I'm saying is that let's open up the conversation.
I got a question, Mr.
Hold on, Mr. Hold on, just letting people come. You wanna speak, you get 3 minutes with anybody.
I actually want to ask her a question. I want to ask her a question.
Please, respect the 3 minutes for everybody. You're welcome to get up and speak. You're welcome to do it.
Well, I'll ask the question. Go ahead. I don't want to get on the ask the 3 minutes.
City Council, citizens of Prairie, it's been kind of heavy. I'm coming to bring a little light on the matters about things that we do have going on in the community. We do have adults computer classes. WCCAC is doing adult computer classes at the Hempstead Library. We're still doing our activities that we were doing last year, the senior activities. We don't have the community center to do it in, so we moved to the library for now. We do have student volunteers that help us from the university that are coming. We've had 3 classes starting March 6th, took off spring break, came back the 20th, and we'll be doing it again. Teaching people how to do things like reading emails, troubleshooting minor problems on your computer, and then also we have some entrepreneurial spirits that want to know how to sell things on the internet, so we're going to set that up for them to do. We've also been working with, we have an intern that has been working with the commissioners. The commissioners are having we're going to have a health facility in Waller County, and so our intern from the university is writing questionnaires, so you all will be getting questionnaires. We'll be getting these questionnaires out and asking what type of services that you all need so that we can help the commissioners and when they bring in the healthcare facility to where they'll be able to treat you all on the things that you all do need. Ms. Kiana Day, she came to the last meeting. She wasn't here today, but she's the intern that we have from the health department that's doing the questionnaire. She's also working with the social work department and putting this together to where they'll be out in the community also. For those that don't get the questionnaire and don't mail them in, they'll help you fill them out. We also have the chamber. The chamber is still planning their agricultural field day. For a fundraiser, we do need money coming in, so they're going to do this. We're going to have the field day. We have turned in our letter to the city and to Road and Bridge, well, TxDOT, in order for us to do the agricultural field day. And we do have some people that are coming. We will have Trey Duhan. He'll be doing the celebrity milking contest. We have Judge Beckendorf and his son. We also have Nasilia Sedilio and other elected officials that are coming out. We have a ringer team coming. It's kind of a surprise. They came last year and he called back and said he wanted to bring his own team with him this year for the celebrity goat milking. So we do have that coming in, a ringer team coming in for that. We will be applying for our permit to go ahead and do the event. It will be April 25th to the 27th that weekend. So we will be doing that. Also, the chamber, we have our website. It's up. Well, it's out there. The chamber has to vote on it. They put it off for this month to vote on it to go ahead and get it released. The first chamber website. So we will be releasing that on Thursday. Also, we are awaiting the city. We haven't gotten the dues from the city yet. I know we're supposed to get it after y'all did the budget, and so that was in October. So we're waiting on those dues for the chamber. Oh yeah, and then my name, like some may not know, my name is Emory Davis, and I am running for City Council, position 5. So I'd appreciate y'all's support to kind of help fill the need of some of the things that we do have here in Prairie View, and continue the progress that we've already built and grown on, and just go to the next evolution of what needs to be here in Prairie View. I thank you. Like I said, my name is Emory Davis.
You have some cards, citizens' comments. Again, you don't need a card, but I have some cards here about another issue. Mr. Juan Lester.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have the same comments as I did the last time. It's concerning our recently appointed police chief. First of all, giving due respect to Mr. Larry Johnson, Reverend Larry Johnson. It was noted that that there was an interview, there were 2 interviews. And also, I noticed that Mr. Larry Johnson in the interview indicated that he is running for justice of the peace. I talked to some of the council members, and I think most of the information that I'm talking about, you have in your report, Ms. Herndon. Councilman Herman, but I really have a problem with, we're trying to build a city, and they have a police officer living some 50-some miles away. And I think that we really deserve to have someone to be able to help build our city. And especially the statement that I heard Mr. Johnson say as it relates to him running for a JP. I mean, it's on the air. You can hear it for yourself. So, I mean, I don't understand how you can serve one community if you have your heart in that community, and then you're going to come to part-time and help do our problems. Mr. Mayor, we could use that money for a better process. I mean, we could build up. I mean, we only have 5 officers. And the money that we are paying them, we could hire more officers. We could even get all the part-time officers to come in. You know that. And especially, Mr. Johnson, for you to say you running for JP, and if you win JP, I cross that bridge when I get through. So where would it leave us? We've already invested in this campaign. So that's it.
Reverend Barnett.
Good evening.
Good evening. To all of you. My name is the Reverend Honorable Dr. Donald Hiawatha Warren. That's Hiawatha. I've been listening to people talking about care. And I ask this question: who does care? Who cares about what's happening to the city of Prairie? In my opinion, nobody does. In my opinion, it's the only one that counts. The first thing I would say is, across the street, across the track, and I'm looking at it, there's a house, it's called the Capscott House. Oh boy, look here. It looks like hell on the highway. It does. I'm looking at the picture, and I'm serious. I'm serious. How can you complain about one thing and you kill another? After that, oh, hear me. We have, in that particular area, that looks worse than my county staff stall up in the front. They live better than that house does. Now, I have here, and we have some people on the city council. And I'm going to name it. John Rowland is one. Some young queens there, but they don't live in this town. They may have the address. John, you don't have to say I don't care. I'm serious. If you're going to vote on anything in this city, then live here. It's against the law. And if you want my attorney's phone number, you can get it. She's called the bitch attorney downtown Houston, Texas. Now, here's what we do have. I'm going to throw you a fastball and a curve at the same time. You cannot degrade. See this garbage here? That's awful. My pen is pretty. See that, Queen? That's beautiful. Feel that. Yes, it is. But on this side, it's awful. You go down the streets and you see this garbage. And it says, well, I think I'll build me a house, that's what I said. Gee whiz, so where can I build it? You have a two-story building here leaning. You have a house over there, out the distance, you can't see it. You have a house over here across the street with legs and all this kind of stuff. Mr. Mayor, you're in charge of this city, and I'm charging you. You're a fine fellow, but I'm charging so help me God. Wayne, you're my buddy. I can't say that about you, but anyway, that's the way it is. When my time is up, Mr. Mayor, shoot, okay? But I'm going to speak until I that's it. What's up, man? If we, you all, if you will do this, then they couldn't do that. Are you with me? If you will do this, then city council couldn't do what they want to do what they're doing when they get ready. How can you walk together except you agree? To me, that makes sense. You and me and I. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, how you doing?
Good. Over where his mother stays. They're nice people. There's a camp of maybe, oh, you didn't see anything, Mr. Prairie? Okay, you don't think so, your camp is all right. But this is not. It isn't all right. You pass by and you look at it and say, oh, well, then somebody will say, we can't have this. You're living in your sister's house and theirs going to waste. Isn't that something? So, my thing is, let's get together. Come together. This is together. I have more strength in these two hands together than you have in one if you don't give it a try. That's the way it is. Together, you heard it all the time. Together, we will and can and should stand. Oh, I can fight for myself. I can fight better than all of you all put together, but I need you behind me. Now, if they say, Bunny, you can't drive a horse, if all of us get together and bring all of our horses out there and park them right there while they're having a meeting, let them clean it up the next day. Are you with me? I believe in what I believe in. This is not my home. My son has been here for 100 years. He married out of a family that has been here for back in the 1860s, 1850s. He married out of that family. But through it all, my ears are good. I can hear you when you drop a pin. Through it all, we need the city of Prairie should, if I don't see you again, remember what this old fox said. You should come together and say what you mean and mean what you say, and dare anybody to make you change your mind. Thank you. Roland, you want to talk to me anytime. I'm always ready. I don't like you anyway. Yes, I've said it. Mr. Raymond Perry.
Good evening to all of you all. Good evening. Mayor, I don't know if it's in order or not, but I have a problem at my house. And it's not just started, it's been there for about 20 years. And I've been dealing with it, and this last week it got so bad that I had to come on up here and try to see if I could do something about it. There's some sewer come out of my yard. Come down from Pine Island, and I'm at the end of Greenfield. And it comes out in my yard.
after all was said and done, I've been putting up with that for a long time. I need somebody to be able to deal with that, stop that problem for me. And what it is, that they got a small sump pump in the green field. And it's too small to handle the sewer that's coming down daily. And when they dump, then that's when the light come on, and the sewer come out of my yard. They need to update their sewer system right there on the green field. And it might hold from coming down to find out. So if there's anybody in the house that knows what to do for that, I sure would like for them to come in and just help me out. Because you get unbearable. And all of that AC comes down. And it goes from my house to the lake down behind me. And that's kind of dangerous too. Because that's a big concern of water. And a lot of people got wells around. And they're using that water for consumption and different other stuff. And that's a bad situation. So I just want to thank you. If anybody in the house can do anything about that, please give me a call. Yes.
David Allen?
Mr. Mayor, council members, now I got 2 minutes left. On my second minute, and I know these things take money, council, but I sat in the city budget August, and I was the only citizen, non-employee, non-elected official, sitting in the city budget. And one of the things that I actually commend you folks on, you worked hard to find an additional $6,000 to $7,000 to make our police chief's position competitive, which was good. But the other thing that you did to align with the budget was you were cutting the police department down to a chief, a sergeant, and patrol officers. So seeing as how now we have a chief, we still have, we're top heavy. We've got 3 administrators and 2 or 3 patrol people, and you wonder why we don't have the money. From an open record standpoint, something that just came up, an article in the Waller County News Citizen by Levon Mosley. A couple of people have been asking me questions, and I don't have answers, so I'll come where I can get the official information. Approximately $750,000, I guess, was budgeted to build this building, but according to that article and some of the things that, again, I'm hearing and I'm coming to the source, so I'd like that response in writing for the record. I'd like to know the tax dollars budgeted, assuming they were $750,000, the tax dollars spent over budget due to the issues with the initial developer. Seems a lot of people thought the initial developer also completed it, and I was one of those people. How much was initial developer paid before the city had to hire a contract with the second developer to finish? And I'd request a copy of all minutes, just regarding the developer and the financial problem. Not all your minutes, just those that touch on that issue per the Open Records Act. I submit that request. Thank you, sir.
Citizen comments? If there's no other citizen comments, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, item number 5, review and spread across the minutes external fiscal audit for 2012-2013. Mr. Payne?
Mayor, City Council, citizen of Prairie. This money will discuss taxes, but I just heard. I'm just more an accountant.